Once upon a time, there was a diary forgotten and the secrets never spoken of. From nowhere, the diary surfaced. The rain pounds against the window as Nia, a woman in her late 30s, sits in her dimly lit home. A knock at the door startles her. When she opens it, a package waits at her doorstep. No return address, no name, just an old leather-bound diary, one she hasn't seen in over 20 years. She hesitates before flipping through its pages, the ink smudged from age. The words on the first page make her breath hitch. If anyone finds out what we did that night, our lives will never be the same. Thunder rumbles outside. Who sent this? And why now? Her mind raced. A prank? No one else knew about that night. Unless... She searched for her old friends. Aisha was married and living abroad. Ken had moved to another city. But Leo, he had vanished years ago. She reaches for her phone. The screen lights up before she touches it. Unknown number calling. Her fingers tremble as she answers. Did you think you could escape the past, Nia? The voice is low, hauntingly familiar. Then the line goes dead. She thought of her childhood best friends. Could it be them? She flashed back. To summer, 2003, the night of the dare. Nia was 17, wild and reckless. She and her best friends, Aisha, Ken, and Leo, lived for danger. Their favorite game? The Dare Challenge. That summer, they had heard the legend of the Whispering. Well, an abandoned place deep in the woods. It was said that a girl named Amina had fallen in long ago, and her spirit still waited to be freed. Ken dared Nia to go near the well and say Amina's name 3 times. Laughing, Nia stepped forward. Amina, Amina, Amina. Silence. Then, a whisper floated from the well. Help me! Leo yelped, and Aisha grabbed his arm. That's not funny, Nia. But Nia hadn't spoken. Then Ken's flashlight flickered, its beam landing at the base of the well. A shadow moved. Something or someone was down there. Then in the chaos, Leo screamed. His foot slipped. He reached out. Nia saw his fingers stretching toward hers, desperate, pleading. She lunged forward. She almost grabbed him. Almost. But fear overtook her and she pulled back. Leo's scream echoed through the forest as he plunged into darkness. They stood frozen. Then, from deep within the well, came a final whisper. You will regret this. They ran. By morning, they told themselves it was an accident, that no one would believe them if they spoke. That Leo had disappeared. They never went back, and they never spoke of it again. Now the past comes calling. Nia's hands gripped the diary. Her phone buzzed again. Another unknown number. This time a message. Come back to where it all started, or I will come to you. A link followed, a GPS pin dropped. That night, she barely slept. When she finally dozed off, a nightmare came. She was back at the well, but this time someone was climbing out. The next day, Nia received another package. This time, a single Polaroid. It was a picture of the well, but something was different. A shadowy figure stood beside it, watching, waiting. She had no choice. She had to go back, grabbing her keys. She drove for hours, heart pounding as she neared the old well. Could it be Leo? No, impossible. The place was untouched, just like they had left it. Covered in ivy. A single flashlight lay at its base, the same one Ken had dropped that night. Then a rustling in the trees. She spun around. Hello? Silence, then a voice. You left me. Nia's blood turned to ice. Slowly, she turned back to the well. Standing beside it was Leo, but he wasn't the same. His skin was pale, his clothes torn and drenched. His eyes, black pits of emptiness, locked onto her. You were supposed to save me, he whispered. Tears filled Nia's eyes. I tried. You chose to run, he hissed, stepping forward. Now it's your turn. Before she could react, the ground beneath her cracked. A force, cold, unrelenting, wrapped around her ankles. She screamed as she was dragged toward the well. No! Please! But as she clawed at the ground, Leo only smiled. You left me in the dark for 20 years. Now you'll understand what it's like. With one final pull, the darkness swallowed her whole. Days later, the police found Nia's abandoned car at the edge of the woods. No sign of her, only an old diary sitting on the hood. The last page had fresh ink, though no one could explain how. It read, "Some secrets never stay buried. Neither do the dead." It had been 3 days since Nia vanished. Her car was found at the edge of the forest. The driver's door ajar, the engine still warm. But she was gone. All that remained was an old diary, left eerily open to a page that read, "Some secrets never stay buried. Neither do the dead." The alarm was raised. When Nia didn't show up for a high-profile business meeting, her company assumed she was delayed. But when calls went unanswered and emails bounced back, her business partner, Mark Daniels, grew concerned. Mark, a sharp-minded investor who had known Nia for 10 years, contacted the police. She wouldn't just disappear, he insisted. The authorities traced her last known location to the Whispering Well. But when they arrived, all they found was her diary. That's when the villagers started whispering. They had warned people to stay away from that well, because Nia wasn't the first to vanish there. The police launched a full-scale search. Drones scanned the forest. Rescue dogs sniffed the underbrush. Helicopters hovered above. But the well, a gaping, ancient hole surrounded by twisting roots, was what terrified them the most. The rescue team prepared to lower a camera into its depths. The lead officer, Detective Amara Ndlovu, observed the villagers watching from a distance. Their faces were lined with fear. An elder woman, Mama Jolly, stepped forward, gripping a walking stick. "Close the well," she whispered. "It is a door that should never have been opened." Detective Amara frowned. "A door to where?" Mama Jolly only shook her head. "You will see." Ignoring the warnings, the team lowered a high-resolution camera into the well. The footage showed damp stone walls covered in moss. 30 feet down, 50 feet, then movement. A shadow flickered across the screen. Mark, watching the live feed, tensed. Was that her? The camera operator adjusted the focus. A pair of hands, pale and clawing, flashed across the lens. Then the feed cut to static. Screams erupted from the villagers. Mama Jolly collapsed, whispering a prayer. Detective Amara's hands tightened into fists. "Get someone down there now!" 2 rescue workers, harnessed and armed with flashlights, descended into the well. The air grew colder as they reached the bottom. A foul stench filled their nostrils. Then they saw it. A hidden tunnel partially caved in. One rescuer, David, radioed up. "There's a passage here." "Looks like an underground chamber." "Proceed with caution," Amara ordered. The men pushed forward. Their flashlights flickered. The walls were covered in carvings, symbols of hands reaching upward, mouths open in silent screams. Then they found something worse. A row of skeletal remains chained to the walls. Some had deep scratches in the stone, as if they had tried to claw their way out. One rescuer gagged. "What the hell happened here?" Then David saw something move in the darkness. A figure sat hunched in the far corner, back turned. Nia. Her clothes were torn. Her hair hung in damp strands. "Miss Nia?" David called, stepping closer. She didn't respond. Slowly, she turned her head. Her eyes were completely black. The radio crackled with static. Then Nia's voice, low, hollow, echoed through. "You shouldn't have come." David's breath hitched. "Miss Nia, we're here to help," she smiled. But it wasn't her smile. Then the tunnel shook. The walls trembled, dust falling from above. The skeletal remains twisted, their mouths gaping open, as if screaming silently. The well, the door, was closing. Nia lunged. David barely had time to scream before darkness swallowed him whole. The second rescuer scrambled back, radioing frantically. "Get us out, now!" The rope tightened. They were hauled up just as the tunnel collapsed. But when they reached the surface, David was missing, and Nia stood there perfectly unharmed. Her black eyes blinked back to normal. She smiled at Detective Amara. "Thank you for bringing me back." The villagers refused to go near Nia. Mama Jolly spat at the ground. "That is not her." Mark tried to reason with the police. "She was found. Why are you all acting so afraid?" But Detective Amara wasn't convinced. That night, she reviewed the footage from the well. Frame by frame, she watched Nia's rescue. Then, she saw it. As Nia was being pulled up, something else climbed out with her. 2 weeks after being rescued from the Whispering Well, Nia appeared to resume her life. To the outside world, she was smiling, working, and socializing. But Detective Amara Ndlovu knew the chilling truth. This was not the same Nia who went missing. Nia's business partner, Mark Daniels, began noticing odd behaviors. She never blinked at meetings. Her fingers tapped unnerving patterns. She muttered alone. At a glamorous gala, she stood eerily still and muttered to no one. Moments later, a waiter collapsed violently and Nia didn't even flinch. That was the turning point. Mark realized, whatever returned from the well, it wasn't Nia. Detective Amara confronted Nia in her penthouse. The place was unsettling. No mirrors anywhere, all broken or covered. Amara showed her the rescue footage, frame by frame, revealing a shadowy creature that climbed out of the well and merged with Nia. Nia laughed and whispered something that made the lights flicker and shadows move. Before Amara could react, the door slammed shut, and the last thing she saw were Nia's pitch-black eyes. When news of Amara's disappearance spread, the villagers understood immediately. The spirit was hungry. Led by Mama Jolly, they returned to the well with Mark to bring back the real Nia's soul. In a forest ritual, they chanted as the wind howled and the well stirred. A hand, human, reached up from the depths. Mark pulled Nia out. She was terrified. I was trapped, it stole my face. But the well fought back. A shadow twin, identical to Nia, rose in rage. Mama Jolly cast a sacred charm, sealing the well. The door was closed. For now. Back home, Nia began recovering. She looked human. She felt like herself again. But that night, alone in the bathroom, she stood before her mirror. Her reflection lagged behind her movement. And in the glass, a pair of black eyes blinked. Just for a second. After being rescued from the whispering well, Nia returns to her life, outwardly normal but inwardly haunted. As the days pass, it becomes increasingly clear something came back with her. A shadow, twisted and crawling, merged with her in the well, and now it wants to fully take over. She begins seeing strange signs. A bruise in the shape of a handprint. A reflection that moves on its own. Voices in her head and home. When her business partner Mark witnesses a terrifying breakdown, mirrors shattering, black eyes, and a shadow crawling from her body, he realizes the spirit was never sealed. It was inside Nia all along. As the shadow breaks free, the whispering well reopens in the city, threatening to consume the world. With the help of Mama Jolly and the villagers, a final ritual battle is launched. Nia, in a moment of inner strength, grabs the shadow and whispers, "I am not yours." She shoves it into the collapsing well, seemingly ending the curse. Back at home, Nia stares into her mirror. She smiles. Her reflection smiles too at the exact same time. For the first time in forever, she feels free.
Thanks for watching. Kindly subscribe, like, comment.